Hey guys, so today I thought I'd do a video that kind of hits home for me, and I know it hits home for a lot of you out there as well. And so I thought I'd kind of discuss this. It's a very serious topic for me, and I kind of want to talk about it. I really don't like to talk about these kind of videos, get into these kind of videos, because I know that it's a very touchy subject. I know that it causes a lot of heated debates and a lot of arguments, and that's definitely something that I don't want to have on my page. And so I'm just doing this for the purpose because it's something that I've experienced. I'm going to be talking about stereotyping and being ignorant when it comes to certain races or individuals, and about educating yourselves and others around you about race and about prejudice and being biased and all these kinds of things. But before I even get further into this video, I want to start by saying that the whole purpose of me making this video is not to have people come on my page or start commenting below saying negative things or putting a race down or putting a person down because of their race, or start arguments and cussing each other out and things like that. This kind of defeats the purpose of me making this video. So if that's what you're looking to do, just leave right now. There's 1,000 other videos where that exists. On my video, I really don't want that. I'm sure it's going to happen anyway. But if that's the case, I'm just going to disable the comments because I really don't have time to read that kind of stuff. I really don't want to read that stuff at all. Like I said, it defeats the purpose of me making this video. But I know there's specific people out there on YouTube who are looking for videos like this and looking for reasons to comment and start arguments and things like that. And if that's what you're looking to do, you can go elsewhere. But I was thinking of like what I would talk about, and I had all these things that I've experienced and things that when it comes to stereotyping. But really, what I'm just going to do is kind of give you a background and kind of tell you about educating each other, and within our own race and outside of our own race, and just having this thing to where people understand different cultures. So anyway, I grew up, in a home where race was not an issue. Um, I grew up around different cultures, and I grew up understanding about different cultures, and race was never an issue because my parents taught me to love an individual based on who they were and based on their character and personality, never because that they were a certain color, never because they were a certain race. So I grew up, loving a person based on their personality and who they were, never their race. And race was never an issue until I started growing up and becoming of grade school age and being around people who were taught different things and taught differently than the way I was taught. And so I was in fourth grade when I first experienced my first bout of racism, and I've experienced several other times after that, but this is when I was first introduced to racism. We were out on the playground during recess, doing what kids do, on the swing set, just having fun, playing tag and all that kind of stuff. And I guess me and this boy, we kind of got in this little fight, and he said, I need to go back to Africa. Just go back to Africa, he said. And I'm thinking, why do I need to go back to Africa? I didn't understand anything about, mind you that I didn't understand anything about race at this time. And he told me, hey, I need to go back to Africa. And for a child to tell me that I need to go back to Africa, he didn't even know if Africa is a continent or a country. And for him to tell me, he didn't know anything about, I'm sure he didn't know anything about slavery or anything like that, and he's telling me I need to go back to Africa. And so this is the whole point of me making this video. I think that if a child is telling another child a racial slur, saying another racial slur to a child, it's because they're being brought up in a home where, racism and prejudice and things like that is something that's being discussed. And I think that when you teach your child to be racist or prejudiced, and the child not knowing why they're saying these things, or not knowing why they're telling a child they need to go back to Africa, or why they're using the N-word, it's completely unacceptable, and I think it's something that shouldn't even happen. And when a child comes into this world, they come into this world, not knowing anything about hatred, not knowing anything about slavery or prejudice or anything out there that exists when it comes to these kind of things. They come into this world completely innocent, not knowing anything about this here. And if you come at your child with these kind of things, if you teach your child to be prejudiced, you're in the wrong, I think. You should teach your child to, you should teach a child about racial issues and about loving a person based on who they are and not the color of their skin, the content of their character. And I think it's ignorant to, make the decision for your child whether or not they're going to hate someone based on the color of their skin. That child, that person that you bring into this world is an individual who is able to make their own decisions. And if you put in their mind to hate someone without them even knowing why they're hating, it's completely ignorant to me. And I think a child should be brought into the world understanding about race and understanding about culture and teaching them about different cultures and races so that they are not ignorant, so that they don't go out in the world saying these type of things that hurt people. And so, you know, don't bring your child into the world hating just because you hate or just because you have ill feelings towards a certain race. Don't put that on a child who knows nothing about that, you know. And I feel like racism and prejudice, even within our own culture, within the black culture, within the Hispanic culture, within the Asian culture, all these things exist because we put them on ourselves. I'm not saying that, okay, all comes from white people, all comes from Hispanic people, all comes from Asian people. They're the ones that oppress us. They're the ones that are hurting us. Or white people mainly are the ones that hurt us. We put prejudice on our own selves. We have this dark skin versus light skin debate. We have this, you should only listen to this type of music. You should only wear this type of clothing. You should only say these type of things. Or you shouldn't talk this way. You shouldn't talk this way. Racism exists within our own culture. And we need to educate ourselves as a people, black. We need to educate ourselves as a white culture. White people need to educate within their culture. Hispanic people need to educate within their culture, and so on. And then it stems out from there. Educate people about slavery and where we come from. And talk about these things, because when you hold them in or you say, oh, you shouldn't talk about these things, that's where all the racial debate comes from. And, if you tell people, oh, you can't use the N-word without telling them why they can't use the N-word, that kind of defeats the purpose. Education is key to so many things. I think education opens the window to knowledge. Education opens the window to knowledge. It opens the window to understanding people and why they act a certain way or why they listen to a certain thing or why they wear a certain thing. And if you go around, calling people names or stereotyping without even really knowing why you're stereotyping or saying these things, is complete ignorance. And I'm so grateful and thankful that I was brought up in a home and, I watched the movie Roots, and that's when I first learned about slavery. That's when I first learned that I'm different, that I have a culture, and that I have a heritage different from the people around me. And I'm educated because my parents taught me about these things, and they taught me never to hate anyone, and I think that if you do choose to hate, don't put it on your child. That's should be their own personal choice. I don't think that if you have a certain hate towards a certain race that you should, put that on your child. Let them make the decision. And at the same time, educate them and let them know that it's wrong. And if they choose to agree with you, then fine, But you did your part in educating them and letting them know that it's not right. And you can justify it all you want and say that it's right to teach your kids, to hate someone. It's not right, regardless of how you try to clean it up or dress it up or change it. And I can go on and on about this video. I was going to kind of tell you a story about each area that I've experienced. I kind of talked about things. I kind of wrote things down about, music and clothing and, language and things like that. But I really wouldn't have time to do that in this video. The main purpose of why I'm making this video is that we all should educate ourselves and people around us about different cultures and so that stereotyping doesn't exist. You know, stereotyping and things like that, you know, I know sometimes people do it for joking. They're joking or, you know, trying to be funny, and sure, that's okay. But then sometimes it occurs so much that it comes to a point where it's not even fun anymore, it's not joking. And I think it stems from not knowing. And so, you know, I've experienced it firsthand, so I'm not just talking out of pure, you know, misunderstanding. I completely understand. I've experienced it so much. Trust me, I have. And I felt like, you know, they just don't understand. And, you know, I try to be understanding and tolerant of people who just don't know. And there's people who do know and they choose to continue to live in, you know, this bubble of not wanting to understand different cultures. And so all I can say is, you know, just try your best to ask questions without being rude. Ask questions and try to understand a person's culture and their perspective. And most important, teach your child about race relations and how important it is to love a person for the content of the character. Like I said, I'm so grateful for people before me. I'm so grateful for the civil rights movement. I'm so grateful for all these other movements that have occurred to teach about the human condition, about character, and about love, and things like that. And most importantly, I'm definitely grateful for my mom because she has taught me so much about race, and she's taught me so much about loving a person for who they are. But anyway, if you have any other questions, if you want me to talk about certain things that I've dealt with, I have a lot of stories regarding race relations. And if you want me to share some of those with you, I will be gladly happy to do a video. But right now, this will not fit in the video. Um, but anyway, thanks for watching. Please leave your feedback of what you think about this here. And I will most definitely love to hear from you. And of course, please rate and subscribe. Hope to talk to you guys soon.